Hi, welcome to Life with Leela. I'm Leela Vox, and I just got off the air at 101.9 kink.fm on a Saturday. And to be honest, I almost didn't record a segment today of this show because, frankly, I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the things that I've seen in the news today. I mean, it has literally been just a barrage of one thing after another, things that make my heart hurt. And if I'm feeling that way, I'm guessing that you may be feeling that way too. Just a couple of the things to touch on. You know, Bahrain, the activity that's happening there, the protesters, and of course their monument of the Pearl being torn down. That sort of has been a space for protesters to meet, and the government has taken that down. They say it's for traffic, but I think that we have a different idea about why that happened. We're seeing that seawater radiation levels have spiked just near Fukushima, the high radioactivity in the seawater there in that area in Japan. Civil war looming in West Africa, snipers in Libya, pulling people from their homes, not letting them take anything with them and just taking them. The woman who was attacked in Libya and has been dragged away. No one knows exactly where she is as of the taping of this show. The reporters in Libya who have been attacked, and of course dozens have been hurt in a protest in London. And when I see these things, it's enough to feel a little bit overwhelming. And I think that is why more than ever it's important for us to take a moment every day, just 60 seconds, to come together. The project of 1 at 1 for 1, remembering our oneness at 1 o'clock for 1 minute all around the globe, and doing that in local time so that the energy of our oneness, of our connectedness, actually begins to orbit, begins to circle the globe, begins to maybe change the energy moving around. And if that sounds woo-woo to you, if that sounds a little too far-fetched, just think of it this way. It's a way for us to feel connected and get beyond our differences, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whatever religious, spiritual views that you have. It's just about connecting with that humanity, that part of us that is one. And to do that at 1 o'clock every day for just 1 minute. Wouldn't it be interesting to see if we could actually change the world by doing this? I ended up having breakfast with Lars Larson this last week, and he's just a delightful man. And I was really, I'm going to say, surprised, because I have my ideas about the things that he says often on his show. He and I have very different political ideas. But, ultimately, when I met with him, it was about connecting on a human level. And I knew before I sat down that my intention is to meet in a place of love, that we as broadcasters have an opportunity to be in a space of love and to help generate that vibration, if you will, out into the world. So Life with Leela has a couple of agendas. One of them is the forgivenessisfreedom.org project. Now, if that's something that you feel compelled to help with, you want to sort of spearhead that, I'm looking for volunteers because I can only do so much, people, by myself. And we're all in this together. The forgiveness work, a lot of people are already doing this work. They're seeing that it's a way to heal the planet. And so I'd like to take that site, forgivenessisfreedom.org, and just turn it into a wonderful clearinghouse, tools on forgiveness and stories about forgiveness. That has sort of taken a back burner for me right now because the Oneness Project, the 1 at 1 for 1, for me seems to be like the first step into getting to forgiveness. If we can recognize the oneness in each other, then forgiveness seems a little bit easy. If I can recognize that I am that which you are, then it's easy to sort of see through the human behavior and learn to forgive you and myself, primarily myself. So the forgivenessisfreedomproject.org. If it calls to you, let me know. Send me an email, leelavox@mac.com. That's leelavox@mac.com. As for the 1 at 1 for 1 project, you might be not used to doing that kind of a practice where you sit in the oneness. You may be asking, what is the oneness? That sounds a little out there to me. It's just about recognizing that in our neighbors all across the globe, that which is within ourselves, that divine spark, whatever your religious beliefs are, if you have any, or if you don't, it may be the life force that dwells within us. You can look at it that way too. So if you've never done anything like that, here's a suggestion. You just close your eyes, take a breath. And join me in this moment, if you will. So as I close my eyes and I connect with the breath, I know that this breath is the same breath that is being breathed by my brothers and sisters right now in Libya, in Egypt, in the greater Africa, Bahrain, London, New York, Texas, Oregon. The person living in the house next door, I recognize that the heart that beats in my chest is no different than the heart that beats in the chest of any human being on the planet. And that there is something within us all which is more than that which we can see with the naked eye. There is something within each of us, the spirit, the soul, that which is eternal, that we have in common, and that connects us. We are mothers, daughters, children, sisters, brothers, friends, neighbors. We have these things in common. And so in this moment, this 1 at 1 for 1, even though it's not really 1 o'clock right now because it's 3 o'clock, but you get the idea. In this moment of celebrating our oneness, I recognize that there are no differences too big. There are no challenges too great to be overcome when we simply connect on the divine spark that dwells within and the inherent love which really is who we really are when we dig past all of the fear and get beyond it and just go to that space of love. And we can do this every single day at 1 o'clock for 1 minute. And you'll be surprised. My goal is 1 minute, and I can't stay in that space for less than a minute. Typically, once I allow the space, once I create the space, you'll look at the clock and be surprised. Maybe you've sat there for 5 minutes, maybe 10, focusing on celebrating the oneness. The breath that breathes me is the same breath that breathes you. And so it is for all of history of humanity. There's a connection not only with everyone who lives today, but everyone who has walked this planet, all of those giants on whose shoulders we stand who came before us. And so I am almost moved to tears in this moment when I realize the power in this movement. 1 at 1 for 1. Will you join me? Will you tell your friends? Will you help this thing spread across the globe like wildfire? We have got to do something differently. You see it. I know you do. All you have to do is watch CNN or MSNBC for an afternoon, and I have it on in the radio station so that I can be abreast of the things that are happening in the world in case there's some breaking news I need to share with my listeners. And seeing it, as Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith says, watching the news isn't telling us what to worry about. It's telling us what to pray about, what to sit in the knowing of the divine order that is unfolding about. And so I thank you for even considering the idea. Set an alarm on your phone or wherever. Text a friend. Post it on Facebook. It's 1 at 1 for 1. And I will link up again to the Life with Leela blog with the details on how to do this. Actually, I'll just put the details right down here below this. I'll copy and paste from the last one. There is much to do. There is much to do. We are all being called into action to fix the problems that we've created as a society. And I say we because we all have personal responsibility in all of it. So let's join together and let's create some solutions. We'll reach across the aisle. If Lars Larson and I can have a beautiful civilized tea in the morning, then anything is possible. Find the love in your neighbor. See the love in someone that you really don't even like to be around. This is the way of peace, and this is the way we are going to transform the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Peace be with you.